everybody. A little bit of action still left on a Thursday bone here. Actually, a lot of action still left on Thursday. However, this show is all about the Friday CBB DraftKings Main Slate. The captain, Mike Holland, joins me in studio to break it all down. And here we go. Recording live from somewhere. This is One and Done.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the co-pays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by DrRoto.com.
It's time once again for everybody to come aboard that One and Done train. Welcome to One and Done. Bienvenidos a todos a One and Done, your fast break of college basketball información, as it says on that gentleman's shirt right there on your viewing device. And we're brought to you and powered by the greatest website in the galaxy, DrRoto.com. My name is Jay Heinrich, your sometimes humble host. I am the conductor of the aforementioned One and Done train. Find me on X at Dr. William Cannon. Follow me, and I'll follow you back. I will. I'll push it so quick you won't even know what hit you. You know what else? You won't know what hit you when you see all the flames on your screen, like this guy right there on this side of me. He's got some flames going on. He's got himself a lineup today on a Thursday, and we're looking to get paid on Friday too and see those green screens. Let's talk to El Capitan himself, the captain of the One and Done ship, at MC Holland 34 on X, the OG Money Mike, Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. We'll probably be doing a little more looking down and looking at TVs and on this show, but it's kind of cool, man. Like, I didn't know if we were going to be able to do this. Appreciate Mr. Blue, pushing the buttons. So Eric the Blue there at Fantasy Nav. Go ahead and give him a follow over on Twitter. But yeah, I'm having a nice day today. So I don't want to jinx anything because I still have Danny Wolf later today. So, but overall, man, it's been a good slate so far. It looks like locking in Denver Jones and locking in Braden Huff when there was not as much value as we're about to talk about was the right move. So hopefully everybody followed the advice and hopefully everybody's having a fun day. It's been awesome. We've only had one upset, but looking forward to there's more madness coming. So it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, we gave you the Huff free swear for sure. So hopefully you clicked on it, and hopefully you actually get over to YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, we see a lot of you over there on Twitter. That's great. But get over to YouTube, push those like and subscribe buttons. If you are on Twitter, make sure you're watching us at One and Done CBB over there. That's all the socials at One and Done CBB. So make sure you hit a follow, a subscribe, a notification bell. Do your part in the One and Done universe. We are up to 1,427 subs, ladies and gentlemen. Getting some love out there from the One and Done universe over the past week or so. We definitely appreciate that. So if you're hanging out with us, let us know you're here. Hop in the live chat and push the subscribe button first so you can do that. And, of course, what do you know? Who's first in the live chat? Like clockwork. He might have never left the studio. It's Michael Peterson. Michael, good to see you again there in the live chat. And then Eric the Blue in the live chat saying, if you watched yesterday, you're having a good day today. That's damn right, my man. We brought the heat yesterday. We're bringing it again today if you're watching live. You might be watching with the bowl of your Cheerios on a Friday morning, trying to prepare yourself for that slate. And if you are, we appreciate you. Hit all the buttons and leave us a comment. Let us know that you've been hanging out with us. So, Mike, let's get to this slate. Quick overview before we get to this 16-gamer.
Yeah, I mean, first thing that jumps out is there's some mispricing. So we'll talk about that. It's going to open up a lot of value. So we're going to be able to do a lot more than what we were being able to do today. We got studs galore. We've got blowout opportunities, as we've seen a few already for SIU Edwardsville. I don't even think they got to 50 today. So, and just really like play the dudes that make sense. And this is the best time of year to try like mass multi-entering. It's just a lot of fun and obviously 16 games, there's just so many players, but locking in 2 or 3 at a very, very high percentage is kind of the way to go in some of these slates and just making those the ones that absolutely make sense and then mixing in some of your boom bust values, obviously.
Play the dudes that make sense. If it was only that easy all the time, our screens would always be green. Not that they're not plenty green around these parts. You know that. But, man, just play the dudes that make sense. Let's get to it then, Mike. A 16-gamer. Don't want to waste any more time hopping in there. Jeremy didn't waste any time hopping in the live chat, by the way. What's up, man? Good to see you again. Jeremy's always hanging around. lively chatting in the liveliest live chat in all of college basketball. Yeah, easy for me to say. Here we go. We're getting it rolling here. 16 gamer. Baylor and Mississippi State is first up. 147 point implied total. There's some much better totals on this slate for a Friday, Mike, than the Thursday slate itself. And so that makes 147 sort of a median total on this one. Baylor 74 implied points. They don't get up and down very, very quickly, so Mississippi State's gonna pace them up a little bit. But Mississippi State's also been middle of the pack defensively in SEC play, so we'll see if Baylor can take advantage of some lackadaisical defense from three, maybe. I don't know that this guy will do it though. Norchad Omier, like 9,700. Listen. Norchad, I like the floor Chad. All right. Solid floor play for a spend up here. He's going to play 35 to 37 minutes. He's going to get our guy Darren's double bonus that he always talks about. The question is he going to get a few stocks? Is he going to get those arms out into the passing lane and get a steal? Is he going to get a couple of blocks here? We need some counting stats for him to really pay off to what we need in the tournament. So probably in the big tourneys, I should say. So probably more of a cash game, small tourney play. But we always like Norchad around here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's kind of one of those weird guys. Like, you just pencil him in for a double-double, man. I think we were joking last time he was on the slate that he has like 500 double-doubles in his college career. But, yeah, he's going to give you that. Much of this Baylor side, the two spend-ups, right? Omier, Edgecombe. Edgecombe, 8,800. Like, terrific freshman, kind of in the same spot as Amir. I'm kind of more interested in the cheapies on Baylor here. So I don't think I'll find my way to clicking VJ Edgecombe on this particular slate. Although if you're playing against 5,000 teams, right? Like, you can get different, especially if you're mass multi-entering. He's a guy that can go for 40. But if you're going to spend 8,800, you might as well spend, because you're going to have the value, you might as well just spend 9,700 and hope Norchad gets 3 or 4 stocks, right? Because he's going to double. So it's really kind of like, can you figure out which Baylor cheapie? Because these guys are too cheap. And it's kind of annoying because Langston Love is back. But you got Rob Wright starting. He's only playing like 20 to 25 minutes. He's 4,300. Jalen Celestine starts. He's 3,900. Jaden Nunn got the start last game. He's 3,900. Kind of tough to figure out. So we're gonna have tons more options in this range here. So Nunn's probably my favorite of the bunch. He's logging like 30 to 32 minutes in the last 3. Love would probably hurt that a little bit. So if he's in the 25 range, I'm not going to love him as much. But I mean, if he starts again, like I think he's probably one of the better, at least on the better side of value than a Celestine or a Rob Wright, who starts but kind of gets yanked early for Jeremy Roach. So yeah, this Baylor side, we'll have to pay attention to starters, right? If Dunn's in there, I'm in. I'll have a sprinkle of Omier, and that's probably it from this side.
On the Mississippi State side, 73 implied points here. And of course, if this is your first time hanging out on One and Done, thank you. We appreciate you. We hope you like us, and we hope you hit the buttons. I hope you like us enough to hit the buttons. There we go. But the metrics that we use and the numbers that we use for our projections, at least in the scores and defensive efficiencies and things like that, that's all KenPom. So Baylor is 57th in the country in defensive efficiency. Obviously a tough matchup for Mississippi State here. And, both teams have really struggled giving up the 3 here. So this could end up with quite a few more points. This total could, if those 3s are falling, who knows? Is Josh Hubbard going to hit a lot of those 3s? I don't know, but he's going to have a bunch of dimes. That this is the spot for him that this matches up well against Baylor. The floor, another guy with the good floor, right, Mike? Norchad, you like his floor. I think Hubbard, we dig his floor as well. Who else on the Mississippi State side?
Yeah, kind of the same as Baylor, man. Just a bunch of other dudes, right? Like Hubbard takes all the shots. There's Matthews, Murphy, Melendez, Cool. Like, I'm not in love with the rest of these guys. If I had to pick one, it'd probably be Keyshawn Murphy, just because he has the best rates of all these guys. But he only plays 28 minutes. Now, he can still get to 35 fantasy points in 25 to 28 minutes. But I'm not like rushing over to play any of these guys. So this game, It kind of reminded me, although if you played Jemiah Neal, I think he's still the highest scorer on today's slate. He had like 25 at halftime. I was like, well, I'm in for a long day, but he was like 2% owned. So you find one of those guys in like the mid 7K range, the high 6K range that go, and I don't think Murphy has that type of ceiling. He doesn't play enough minutes. He would if he played 36 minutes. But yeah, overall, Jay, man, I just there's just better spots that we're going to talk about, man.
Yeah, it's almost like you got to hope everything goes right. All those threes do fall, and these guys hit all of their shots in order for it to make it a little bit more interesting and want to invest in this game for sure. So, all right, there we go. One game down, only 15 to go, and we're going to keep it rolling. But first, we're going to talk about our friends over at BracketBids. Mike, we went over to BracketBids last night on a Wednesday night before the tournament. We were on BracketBids.com. Some of us were on the BracketBids app doing our auction draft. We had it was me and Mike were in there, and then 6 members of the One and Done universe. Forklift Jeremy was in there, of course. Jason B, we appreciate Jason for doing that. Our guy C Thuggin, Cam was in there. Corey, the king of the single entry, was in there as well. Darren hung out with us, and then
Cam was in there, yeah.
Yeah, Cam.
Ismail,
your cousin, Ismail, your cousin. Yeah, he was in there too. Good stuff there, man. Good crowd last night, and it didn't feel like it took that long. Honestly, like I'm thinking, like, man, this is going to take forever. We got all these teams, man. It was such a fun experience, such a smooth draft. Everything. I'm looking at the screen right now. Like everything about it is accessible. You can access the standings, the bracket, and you look at the bracket. You can see, oh, okay, so. Darren has Michigan, and I have UC San Diego. So I know in that matchup tonight, we're going against each other there. Our teams are going against each other. And since we did the Sweet 16 bonus, maybe if UC San Diego makes it to the second round, and then maybe the Sweet 16, I might get that Sweet 16 bonus. It was a tremendous time here. Everybody, there's a chat. The live chat in the BracketBids draft was as lively as it is here on the show. Jeremy giving it the stamp of approval there in our live chat tonight, saying that he had a good time over there. We definitely appreciate that. So, yeah, our friends, when you talk about upgrading your March, this is something that now I like, especially now that I've gotten to do the draft.
Yeah,
like I was on the website. I saw what it looked like. Like I hadn't done a draft, right? We go in there with the One and Done universe and get it done. It was such a tremendous experience and something that I'm definitely going to be doing again. And, I use the promo code BREAD over there. I got 40% off of our league activation fee there. So, I mean, thanks a lot to our friends over at BracketBids for hanging out with us always and for being a partner in the madness that we call March. Good stuff there. Ryan and the guys over at BracketBids. Good stuff. Excellent. 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 All right. 15 games. We got to run through these. There's a bigger total here, but one of those blowout games that you mentioned, the possibility of one at least. Robert Morris is a 20-point dog, according to the metrics, against Alabama here, a 164-point implied total. Let's start with the Robert Morris side. We know Alabama plays tough defense against anybody and everybody, so that's going to be tough here. But there's going to be a ton of possessions in this one, right? Alabama, el numero uno in tempo. So there's going to be some possessions in this game for sure. And can Cam Woods take full advantage of all the opportunities that are going to be in front of him here? 8,200 for the Robert Morris guard. All the production on this team comes from the two studs. And Woods has been awesome lately. 6 straight games with 32 or more fantasy points. He's going to be on the floor the entire game. And this isn't just your all cardio guy. No. He does everything. This is the best kind of pace up you can get. He's going to play max minutes. It's the matchup, though. Like, just because Alabama's pacing you up, it doesn't mean they're not also going to shut you down. So
right.
I think Woods, you could probably large field play, right? If you're talking about doing mass multi-entry earlier, and it's like, okay, how can I don't know how many people are going to be on Cam Woods. I mean, maybe the floor is there, right? 6 straight with 32 fantasy points. So something to consider, knowing that you have the floor at 8,200. But how do you feel about Woods and anybody else on this side?
Yeah, I mean, Woods would probably be but 1 or 2%er. I don't think I'll get to him. I don't know that I'll play either guy. Fulgaris, the 7,800, like he's a stud big man. He does everything too. But these guys are for like large field. Like if you're playing 20 lineups, like toss them into one. See if one of these guys can get that game. I would not play these two guys together. It's interesting that Fulgaris' price has come down. He's $400 cheaper than Woods. Yeah, it's tough, man. Like we've seen these 15s. I don't think any 15 or 16 stud is going to get there. And it's mostly due to their price tags are pretty high, man. Like in accordance to them, like playing against an SEC, top rated team. You know what I mean? Like if they were 7,800 and 8,200 and they were still, playing in the, the Horizon League and stuff like it, obviously would be a different story. So I'm probably off on them, but one strategy that I have used in today, Jay, and we talked about this yesterday, Auburn it was Janai Broom. He didn't really play that much and he seemed kind of disinterested today, but we have this big total on Alabama's side and they got a lot of cheap options. So yeah, I'm really interested in getting to this Bama side, and you don't need to run back on the RMU side.
Yeah, they do have a lot of options, and they got a lot of stock upside too. Robert Morris turns it over a ton, gets the shot blocked a bunch. So you got to take that into consideration here. And we do have a little bit of lineup news at the time of recording. Grant Nelson's already been ruled out. So like that can obviously affect the way that the ball is distributed and the way that who soaks up those shots and everything like that. Mark Sears is one of those players for them, 8,600. You just worry about the blowout again. It's just Sears is a stud. Like, it is what it is, right? It's a blowout. Is this going to be a 25, 28-point game, 30-point game with 6 minutes to go? Like, is he – I don't know. Probably a large field only play. But, again, you were talking about coming into the Alabama side. There's some cheaper options that have some easier paths to get there to where we need. So, Sears is probably a pass.
Yeah, that like you look at the Houston guys, they didn't play. I don't think anybody on Houston played more than 25 minutes today. Broom didn't play, his 30 minutes. So like, this is what you're going to find from the ones and twos. Why are they going to push these guys? I like my best lineup right now is 3 Auburn guys that were all like sub 5,600. I think we could do the same here. I think you play 2 to 3 Alabama guys. I played 2 Auburn guys on every single lineup. LeBaron Philon at 6,600. I think they want to get him back on track, so I could see him getting close to maybe his 30 minutes. He's got awesome rates across the board. He can go for 30 fantasy points. They really need to get him going. He's going to be a huge part of what they do to go along with Mark Sears. The 6,600 is a little steep for upside for tournaments, but I think if you're playing like smaller tournaments, I really like using him. In the larger field, Jay, I'm probably sticking to 5,600 and cheaper. So Diabate is 5,600, and with Grant, even when Grant Nelson is in, he comes off the bench, and sometimes in 18 minutes he'll score 25 to 30 fantasy points. Like he's gonna be an absolute stud. So he's gonna have a really solid role with Grant out. He's gonna be mega popular because people are gonna see. Look at what he did in the last game against Florida, right? 34 fantasy points. He had 22 minutes against Kentucky, 29 fantasy points. Like. He's probably going to play 28 to 30 minutes in this one with the injury. So I definitely like Diabate. He's going to be popular. Going to be a core play we'll talk about later. And I like pairing him with one of these other kind of spin the wheel guys. So you got Chris Youngblood, who starts shot dependent, shoots a bunch of threes, but every 3 is nearly 1x. Aiden Holloway is a microwave off the bench. He can score 20 real life. He's been priced up at like 5K at some points during the year, even 5,500. And then we'll see what happens kind of with everyone else here. Even Amorie, a little bit in play with Grant Nelson out. But I think Youngblood and Holloway are going to be the 2 people that I would most like to look at. So I think Diabate and Holloway are definitely interesting, especially if Diabate starts. It's tough playing 2 bench guys, but honestly, today, if you play Chaney Johnson and Tahad Pettiford, they both went 5X off the bench for Auburn. So, like, you shouldn't be afraid to do it in the large field stuff. And I played a little bit crazy because I had Pettiford and Chaney Johnson both coming off the bench for Auburn today, but I put them with 1 starter. I typically put one of them with 2 starters, but Chad Baker-Mazara didn't get there, but I did get there with Miles Kelly. So that's just one route that I'm looking at, and I'll be probably doing that on a lot of my tournament lineups.
Fortune favors the bold. Sometimes you got to mix it up a little bit to see the big old green screens. We're chasing commas here, guys and gals. Like you can't always follow the same formula every single time, right? We gotta mix it up a little bit. Don't be afraid to play. Scare money, don't make money.
92 team total.
Got to get
Auburn's
into
was
it.
90. So
good stuff. A couple games down there. Let's look at the live chat as we get in there. Our guy Andrew saying he needs a big second half from Dickinson. Well, right now Arkansas is up 10, 54-44 at the time that we are recording this. That'll help me too. I have Dickinson in a lot of my stuff today, so that would be tremendous. I agree, Andrew. Thanks for hanging out with us in the live chat. 1432 on the subscriber number, Mike. We get got. Appreciate y'all. We appreciate the love. Definitely do. Thanks for showing up for us. Hang on the live chat. Let us know if it's your first time, long time. Thanks for the Vine, whatever you want to do. Let us know who your team is. If you got your upset picks right so far, we want to hear about it. Let us know in the live chat. Lipscomb and Iowa State. Speaking of upset picks, my upset pick of the first round, Lipscomb, a 144-point implied total here for the game, and 66 of those to Lipscomb. Iowa State, pretty good defense here. We know that. Not pretty good. Elite defense from Iowa State, at least over the course of the entire season here. But a key player out that's going to affect them on both ends of the court, something that we have to consider here. Iowa State's going to pace up Lipscomb. Anybody on this side? Obviously the team total itself isn't that appealing, but does anybody sort of fit into that range that makes you want to click the button?
They have Agnosovich. He's a 20-10 guy, but ISU has the bigs. Josh Jefferson. They got guys that are going to throw at him, make his life a little more miserable, kind of like what we saw with when they played Arkansas this year. I think if you're going to take a shot on anybody on this Lipscomb side, I think it's going to be Powell at 5K. That's pretty cheap. Plays a lot of minutes. He shoots a lot of threes, but he's really scoring reliant. So, I don't know that I'll get to click him because once we talk about Akron and some of these and Colorado State, we're going to be like, well, what are we doing here? But he's flashed 20 to 25, and that's 4 to 5x, right? So if you're playing a lot of lineups, I think you can mix him in. If you're only playing, 3 to 5, or if you're playing, I just don't know that you want to use him if you're not playing, more than 10, 15 plus lineups.
Lipscomb is 101st in the country in defensive efficiency, so they're no slouch there. Iowa State still projected to have 78 points in this one, and they're going to get a boost for their bigs. Lipscomb doesn't really rebound very well, gives up a lot of blocks to opponents as well. So you mentioned it, Ognisevich is the conference player of the year for them, but he's the only one that's doing it on the front court. So they're going to give him fits. Like you said, it's going to be tough for him to get there and get to his averages. But on the other side, somebody that's not there is Gilbert for Iowa State. So already we know he's out. That affects Iowa State's defense, but it also affects their offense as well, their second leading scorer. I'm going to start, though, in the front court with Josh Jefferson at 8,300. This is the type of spot, Big O on the other side isn't exactly known for a ton of defense, right? This is a great spot for Double J here. Double upside for Double J. Absorb some of that usage that Gilbert gets for sure. I like him in cash and tournaments probably, Mike. At this price, this isn't earlier when we were talking about 8,200 and we're a little bit unsure. This is that same range, but he's getting a minimum of 30 fantasy points in this spot, Mike.
Yeah, and when Gilbert was out, we saw high 30s, we saw 40s. He was 10K at one point. We were like, what? I'm playing him at 10K, but you give me a Lipscomb matchup at 8,300? I'm going to have a ton of Jefferson. I'm going to have a ton of Curtis Jones at 7,200. When Gilbert, when they had some injuries early in the year, Gilbert was out, right? Curtis Jones went on this, even when those guys were in, he was 9K at 110. I think he reached 10K at one point. He was top 10 in the KenPom Player of the Year rankings a couple of months into the season. Takes a ton of shots. His minutes are more secure. When everybody was back healthy, Momcilovic, Gilbert, all these guys were healthy. He was playing high 20s minutes. Now he's going to play, we'll see in the blowout, right? But you got to figure he's going to get to at least 28 in a better matchup. So I do like Jones. I like Jefferson in cash and tourneys. I like Jones for tourneys only, just because he is kind of shot dependent. And then all these other guys kind of priced correctly. Lipsy, Momcilovic, Heisey. We're not getting the discounts that we typically get. Like sometimes we'll get Lipsy at like 5.6 or Momcilovic at 5.4 or Heisey at like 4K. I mean, I'm just not interested when they're at their kind of maybe even a couple of $100 over where they're typically at in conference play against the Lipscomb team. So yeah, I think for me, Jay, it's really Jefferson and Jones.
Are you concerned that Iowa State might put this one out of reach early and the minutes might be limited on this side?
I'm kind of with you. I think this is going to be a little bit more of a game, just because the way to compete with Iowa State is to be able to shoot the three, and I think they have like 7 guys on Lipscomb that can shoot threes. So I think they're going to have a problem inside. Like Agnostic is more of an offensive player, and the way that Jefferson's played this year. So I just think Jefferson's going to be an awesome play in this one.
It's great when you got 7 guys that can hit threes, but the problem is you have 7 guys that can hit threes. Who's going to be the one to hit it, right?
Yeah, and who's going to defend Jefferson inside?
Yeah, that's fair too. All right, good stuff there. Keep hitting those buttons. We appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe. Hop in the live chat. Let us know you're hanging out with us. We definitely want to hear from you. Just let us know if you're first time hanging out with One and Done, whatever it is. Drop your team in there. Drop your best picks that you've made so far. Did you call McNeese? I know a lot of people did. I did not actually have McNeese. I might be
a year early. We both were a year early.
Yeah, definitely. We were. All right, good stuff there. Hop in the live chat. Let us know you're hanging out as we move on to Colorado State and Memphis, a 147-point implied total. Colorado State getting 74 of those. We got 144 on the slide, 147 right here. So somewhere in the mid 140s is what we're looking at here for this game here. Memphis obviously is going to pace up almost anybody that they're up against. So that being said, they're also going to be they're pretty good defensively, top 50 in defensive efficiency. So tough from the offensive side for Colorado State, but they are going to get some steals because Memphis turns the ball over more than I did when I was running the point back in the day. Not great. So a ton of steals, opportunities there to get their hands in some passing lanes. Who intrigues you here on Colorado State? There's one name, obviously, that's high above everybody else on this side, but can we find any value too?
Yeah, I love this side, and I'm probably playing at a minimum 1 guy on this side and probably 2. 1 because of the price tags on these guys. So Colorado State implied for 74 points. Memphis has been strong defensively, but this is a massive pace-up spot. And we got stocks, right, that we're going to be able to get onto. And just the way that the pricing structure came out for Colorado State, we're going to want to get into this. So Nick Clifford, a stud, right? I think it was 10-4 or something like that on the last slate. He's now 9,000. He's been on a tear. He hasn't been under 31 fantasy points in the last 15 games. He's an absolute stat sheet stuffer. He should be popular because it is paced up and he's discounted. So yeah, I'll be clicking the button a lot on Nick Clifford in this one at this price tag. And then I'll be running him with one of these other guards with him. Kyan Evans, he was not great against Boise. Hopefully people were turned off by that performance. But he can easily go for 20-plus fantasy points. He's kind of the reason. Nick Clifford obviously carries the load, but he's kind of the reason why they're in this spot that they're in. Isaiah Stevens was a great point guard for them last year, and he's come in and filled in that role admirably, a 20% assist rate. He can hit threes. So definitely like Evans here. And then Jalen Lake for large field tournaments at 4K. He's $1,400 cheaper than Evans. He's more shot dependent than Evans, but he has more of a minutes for it, feels like. He can get into the 20s as far as fantasy production as well if his shot's falling. So I think that all 3 of these guys are awesome plays. I don't know that I play all 3 together unless you're just going to super stack this game, because this game, you're going to want to get pieces in this game. We'll talk about this Memphis side here, Jay. But Nick Clifford at 9K, he's underpriced. Got y'all beat, Jay.
Thanks, Mike. Tyrese Hunter's out. We already know that about this Memphis side here. So PJ Haggerty at 8,900. We know he's going to score the basketball no matter what. And knowing that Hunter's out, even more of an opportunity there for him to take advantage of that. Huge usage rate, assist upside there for Haggerty. Another guy rarely under 30 fantasy points. And the matchup defensively isn't something that I'm absolutely in love with, but he's got to be in play in basically every format, especially with Hunter out.
Yeah, this Hunter thing, right? I mean, PJ just has to do that much more, and him in danger, right? There's no third weapon for them because they have all these role players now around them, like Rogers, Carter, and Okoje. But Dane Danger's 8,800, and his ceiling has been unlocked by Penny. His ceiling, he's not fouling, which I swear, if he fouls someone, I don't know who on Colorado State can guard. They don't have someone that can guard him. Like they're trying to play Rashad Memba. He's not. It's just not happening. Their weakness is at the 5 spot. Dane Danger's now bringing up the ball like off of the rebound and like driving to the hoop and dunking on people. So yeah, this guy is an absolute monster. And just, I mean, look what he's been doing. I mean, 53.5 against a really good UAB team that could be in this field. A 43.75 against Tulane, right? Like, and then you see kind of like where he turns the ball over and then he can get into foul trouble. That's why he's a large field tournament play. I would not touch him in any other setting other than that. But him or Haggerty as a run back are awesome. And they kind of spin the wheel with, Rogers, Carter, Okoje. Okoje got the start last game for Hunter. He's 3,400. PJ Carter comes off the bench. I think he's a little sneakier for tournaments at 3,800. And then Carlos Rogers obviously going to start. He's been starting. He's going to get more shot opportunities with Hunter not in the mix. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to just kind of spin the wheel and pick these guys, Okoje at 3,400 starting. I mean, come on, like it's not a free square by any means, but I mean that's pretty nice, right? I mean,
not like Huff today, not that kind of.
Not like Huff today. Yeah, Huff is just a fantasy per minute machine. And Gonzaga is now scary because they're starting him. Like I think they realize that their opportunity to win a title is playing him next to Ike because he can shoot threes. So like now you have problems.
Speaking of unlocking stuff, right? Anyways, good stuff there. Easy to get sidetracked on a guy like that who is just an absolute, like, they not like Huff. You know what? We are so on the same wavelength because I was thinking it in my head, but out of respect for my friend Mike, I wasn't going to say it on air, But I wanted to go back to Eric's thing from earlier. Never wrong, just early. Yeah, that's right. We were never wrong, just early on McNeese. That's right, buddy. Eric the Blue pushing the buttons and hanging out in the live chat. Hang out with Eric in there and Forklift Jeremy and Andrew. And maybe Michael Peterson's still hanging around. He's there. He's always here. And we appreciate that about him, definitely. And we appreciate that he let us know that he's hanging out with us, taking in the slate info here. This one's for the Friday main slate on DraftKings. And it's time to get to Duke, Mike. And honestly, outside of the name Duke, there's not much else attractive in this game from a DFS perspective or really any perspective. We're not going to spend any time on Mount St. Mary, so let's just hop right into Duke here. Cooper Flagg, he's going to play. There is absolutely zero chance they play him more than 20 minutes, 22 minutes, maybe 24 minutes, because this is going to get out of hand quickly. You're gonna see guys for Duke that 2 weeks ago they were the ones carrying the boom box on their shoulder heading out to the court. Those are the guys getting minutes in this one for Duke. It's a full fade on me for Flagg, especially at 9,600. I'm off him. Maybe we can address this in the next round, but full fade on Flagg.
Yeah, I'm full fade on this entire side, man. Like, I'm not playing with Flagg back, though. Even if Flagg plays 20 minutes, it hurts all of these other guys the prices have started to elevate a little bit because he's been out for a couple of games, especially Knipple being at 8,100, not touching him. I'm just not interested in Maliwatch, James Proctor. Like, if one of those guys beats me, then whatever. It's going to take a lot for them to 5X, especially when they're not going to get that many minutes. Like, you're going to see Isaiah Evans get 20 minutes, and Gongba's probably going to get 18 to 20 minutes. You're talking about the Tal and Waterboy are going to get 5 minutes. So, yeah, not interested, man. I'd much rather just move on to the next one.
It sounds like a law firm. Knipple, Malubach, James, and Proctor. And we're not touching any of them this slate. Might as well just move on to Vanderbilt and St. Mary's after we make sure that everybody hits those like and subscribe buttons. Michael letting us know he's still here. Just listening, Michael, you're the man. Thanks for hanging out with us always. We appreciate you.
He's like, I'm trying to watch hoops, man.
Yeah. These games, this Kansas game is getting a little bit closer as we're going. They're at commercial right now, but we'll get an update
Drake
on that
up
soon.
7 at halftime. Woo.
Yeah. Drake up 7. A&M up right now on Yale. Let's get to this Vanderbilt St. Mary's game. 138-point total on the game. Not too great at all. Vanderbilt 64th in tempo. We like that. So why are they only projected to score 67 points in this game? Well, St. Mary's plays some high quality defense, and also Vandy plays a bunch of guys. Mega pace down, dude. Anything. 100 maybe.
I mean, he's what 4,800. So like, he's in the pool because he plays 30 minutes, right? But
and he's under 5K.
Yeah, he's under 5K. But I mean, a top 10 defense, bottom 5 in tempo. Like right.
That's the only reason that he's interesting, right? Like you get him 4,800, and man, I don't even know. It might be one of those last one ends if I'm just looking for somebody in one.
Yeah,
it's tough. How about St. Mary's? Yeah. Vandy's defense hasn't been great. They played really well at home in SEC play, especially later in the season, but it's not been super sharp here. So I might expect St. Mary's is going to clog it up. You know that's what they do. If you watch any St. Mary's at all, they're just going to we've been saying rock fight a lot recently, but they just want to turn it into a knockdown, drag out, just clog it up here. Yep. Marciulionis, what do you think? 8K, Mike? Probably more of a cash option in the high tier, right? If he's got to shoot a bunch, if he's going to shoot a ton, if you could tell me he's going to shoot the ball, just come out and they're going to feed him and he's going to shoot the ball. I would be a lot more interested in a bigger tournament type of a play. But I think cash game here for the floor. Yeah. Just some other spend up options on the slate, Mike, that in that higher tier that make me have higher ceilings that I might want to spend up on.
Yeah, I think with Marciulionis, like you just, smaller tourneys in cash, but then you kind of win 25K. I think you play Mitchell Saxon and you play Police Morauskas. Like Saxon at 7,500, he's always intriguing for large field, has double and shot blocking upside. He fouls a ton, which is why Harry Wessels is now 5K. But the problem with Saxon is that some of that upside gets taken out because he's at 7,500, right? So a 40 piece from him doesn't sound as good as a 40 piece from Morauskas, who could actually do that at 5,900 if he would ever stop fouling. So he's a boom bust GPP option too. So I think this is a nice spot for him. He likes to shoot threes. Like we've seen him go for 35, 40 fantasy points at 5,900. Like there's not a lot of guys in his price tag that are going to get that have that type of ceiling. But he's also a guy that can legitimately score 9 fantasy points because he fouls 2 times in the first minute, or because Marciulionis and Saxon kind of run this 2-man game. So yeah, I think for me, it's taking some shots on Saxon and Morauskas for 25K. I don't play a ton of cash games, but I know you DJ. So yeah, Marciulionis, man, I feel like that's pretty solid play.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be clicking him a couple of times, no doubt about it. All right, good stuff. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Push those buttons for us. Turn on the notification bells. You never know what we're going to do. I agree. I wasn't necessarily thinking that they were going to come out looking like that. I didn't pick them to win, but I thought it would be a closer game. They're just too talented. But your coach is already out the door. What did he tell them? Like, hey, if you play well, maybe you can come with me. Like, I mean, like, is he going to take some of these guys? Who knows? But they played really well today. Good on McNeese for sure. And good on Forklift Jeremy for hopping in the live chat. And I guess more good on Forklift Jeremy because now we're going to talk about UNC and Ole Miss. So Jeremy's North Carolina Tar Heels here. Again, we talked about it the other night. They mollywop. I mean, what was that, 27, 28? I don't know. Yeah. It was over 25 points that they won by in the first 4 here. And I said, even though I said at the time, I didn't think that meant, that they still belonged in the tournament. But at this point, the games were in front of them. And when we were talking about our brackets and stuff like that, we both were confident that they might make a little mini run here to the Sweet 16. Ole Miss in their way, who plays pretty tough defense. Both of these teams are a little bit smaller and struggle against the glass, so don't go chasing rebounds and don't go chasing waterfalls. RJ Davis, 7,600 here for UNC. Is this the spot, Mike, that RJ Davis wins somebody 25K?
I mean, this would be the spot, right? I mean, he hasn't shown that upside. We've been talking about that all year.
We've been searching for it, man. We've been waiting on it. He might be that guy, but even if he's not, I still like the floor, especially at 7,600, really the bottom end of that high tier, the bottomest bottom of the high tier. at 7,600. I don't mind taking a few shots on him at this price. He's going to play max minutes in this kind of game. You know he's going to be on the floor the whole time. I think it's a good price, and you got to consider him.
Yeah, I don't mind him. I think I will take one shot at him in the 25K to first, because if he scores 30 real life, he could get to 40 fantasy points. So, maybe a shot on him. Vanderbilt Lubin, though, he's been awesome towards the end of the year. Didn't have to do much against SDSU, but they actually have Magungwath and some guys inside that are pretty tough. So that's not really the spot you want to target San Diego State in. But this matchup is 100 times better for both bigs on each side, because these two teams just struggle with keeping people out of the lane and getting on the glass. So I think Vanderbilt Lubin at 7K, I just don't think people are going to use him at that price tag, which makes him interesting for tournaments. And then Cadeau, I mean, he's starting to show people some promise, right? He's 5,800 now, like no longer 4,600 like he was, like last week or whatever. He's still only playing like 27 minutes, so that's kind of annoying. And this could be a trap spot if you're trying to chase this. But this is an awesome game environment. I mean, this is one of the bigger totals on the slate. So 155 points, and these teams are probably going to come down to the wire, 1 point spread on KenPom. So, yeah, I definitely am thinking about some of these guys for tournaments for sure.
On the Ole Miss side, Padula at 7,300, around that sort of that same range as RJ Davis. Padula hasn't been great over the past couple of weeks, outside of like just speaking of mollywop and just dismantling OU. I think you can consider him for tourneys probably. But it's the price. This is the only we got used to seeing him in like the mid 8s for most of the year, and now 7,300. It's just it's drawing my finger to the click. Like it's attracting me. I don't know. Large field option probably, Mike.
Yeah, I like Padula for tournaments. I like Malik Dia for tournaments at 6,400. Bigs have had their way for the most part against UNC. So he's another boom bust option, right? He could give you 18 fantasy points. He could score 35 fantasy points. He tends to fall in love with the three, but the rebounding opportunities will be there for him. I don't love Murray or Morrell at the price tags. This is a good game environment, but I don't think I'm getting there at that price tag, especially with Barnes. Not sure why he's 3K. It's kind of he's free. He's going to play 20 to 22 minutes. I mean, there's not really any 3K flat options. So if you're trying to jam him in, like, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's the smartest play, right? Because we've already talked about some of the cheaper guys we got more coming that have ceiling. So yeah, I mean, Barnes probably not for me, man. But he's notable because he's 3K. He's gonna play there's no 3K guys that play 20 to 22 minutes on these first two slates. So,
I mean, we've all gotten to the end of our lineups, and we're sitting there and we're looking at literally, 3,100 or something like that, and you're like, man, I thought I did work this out.
Yeah,
I like these plays. Like, where in the world am I going to find 20 minutes at 3K? Well, if you have to and you really like the rest of your plays, Barnes is probably it. He's your guy for sure. All right, good stuff there. Like and subscribe buttons. Forklift Jeremy, did we do your UNC Tar Heels justice here in this segment? Hope to hear from you about it. Mr. Brooks in the live chat saying that Wisconsin future's looking great. Yeah, they handled their business today for sure. I got Wisconsin in our BracketBids thing, in our BracketBids league too, on the cheap last night, of course. No biggie. Excellent there. Good to see it in there, Mr. Brooks. As always, as we move on to Grand Canyon and Maryland, a 150-point implied total here. I think one of the things that it's just not on the front of people's minds enough is that Maryland is a top 10 defense, 6th in defensive efficiency. So really tough for Grand Canyon to get theirs here, even though both of these teams are top 60 in tempo. Grand Canyon is priced up, and this low implied total here at 68 points. Can we get to anybody?
Man, yeah, it's another one of those cases, right, where you're getting the studs for 8K basically. TGF, right, a little bit just in case he pulls a miracle, right? Like he could score 25 real life. So large field, but no, I'm not too interested. I'm more interested in the Maryland side because some of their guys got some discounts. Yeah,
Maryland, Derek Queen here, not necessarily a discount at all at 9,500 there, but he's that awesome frosh that can do it all for the Terps. Unfortunately, he is probably the only one that didn't get a price break. He got that 40 to 50 fantasy point upside anytime he touches the floor. And when you have an 82-point implied team total here, that's the kind of total that makes you want to buy into 9,500 in a 150-point game total. That's not too shabby at all. So Queen's probably large field only because of the upside. But let's talk about some of those guys, Mike, that have a little bit of that haircut on the price.
Yeah, we got Gillespie, Reese. They were in the 9K range as well with Queen. That's how good this starting five for Maryland has been, called the Crab Five. So I'm a little interested in Gillespie. I think I'm more interested in Reese, right? But Gillespie has the highest assist rate, shoots a lot of threes. His price has fallen. He was in like the mid nines or whatever. He's more of a cash target. Queen and Reese definitely for tournaments. Reese is going to draw way more ownership than Queen because he's $1,500 cheaper, and they've been around the same price tag for most of the season. And that's typically what we do, right? We see, the two stud Maryland bigs, and we're like, which one's cheaper? And that's usually the way we go. But this is a significant price disparity between the two. And we know he has 40 fantasy point upside. It feels like he hasn't been this cheap in forever. So I definitely like him here for tourneys. If you want to take a shot on Miguel and Rice, I guess you could. But I think most of my exposure here is going to be on Queen and Reese.
82 implied points on this side. I'm just saying, this is one of those team totals that we want to get into. But again, do you spend for Queen, or do you try to get one of these guys that has a little bit of a haircut?
He'll probably be 2 to 3% in the large field. So yeah, there's merit to playing him if Grand Canyon can keep it close. So I don't think you have to run it back with anybody from Grand Canyon either.
This isn't like a 20-point spread here. 14 makes me feel like, that's a 10-point game with a couple of minutes left. It could be, so it's very possible, but we shall see. Hit those like and subscribe buttons. Andrew hopping back in saying that Dickinson disappeared in the second half. Yeah, I saw I was looking down, and this wasn't that long ago, and it was like Dickinson's last field goal made was at 9 minutes remaining in the first half, and it's just like, geez, what is happening with this guy? He started off really nice, and yeah, who knows? All right, Michael Peterson, you're officially in the clubhouse in the one and done tournament. Is that right? I haven't checked it. I'll have to check it. Oh, and I'll have to check in on that. Good stuff, Michael. Appreciate Michael, Andrew, Forklift, Jeremy, Mr. Brooks, everybody for being in the live chat. Make sure you hit all those buttons, like and subscribe, notification bells. We're bringing you the heat all the time, 365 days a year. We don't just do DFS. We do recap shows. We do coach interviews. We do transfer portal stuff. Mike and Nate are everybody that goes in the transfer. Mike, what was your big board last year on drroto.com? Did it make it to 500, 600?
Yeah, we got to 500.
500 player big board.
I think I'm at 35 right now, last check. So.
35 right now, and that's guaranteed to expand exponentially in the near future. But yeah, make sure you get to drroto.com. Check out all the work that we do over there. Mike right now writing the college basketball stuff, and Eric saying he's doing 900 this year. I was told it was 1,100, but whatever he wants to do, it's fine by me. It's good stuff there. 900 big board. We love it. Good stuff, Mike. Norfolk State in Florida, 163 implied points here. We like the game total, but this is a little bit of a blowout concern here on this one. Norfolk State, nope. How many ways can I say no? No. We ain't doing it. No. Slam the door shut. Okay, Florida.
Don't do it.
Florida, 89 implied points for this team. I mean, one of the top team totals on the slate here. Going to get a rebounding and a steal boost as well are the Gators. Let's start with Clayton, man. We know he's the straw that stirs it, but the blowout is the concern. We've seen the 1 and 2 seeds not run their guys out there for normal minutes. We've already seen it. Does it mean it'll happen in this game? Not necessarily, but this could get out. This is another one that could get out of hand really quick. 8,100, appealing, right, for this guy? 8,100, yeah. But let's wait a couple of days to slot him in, I think, Mike.
Yeah, it's kind of the nice thing about the 1s and the 2s that don't play their guys. You usually get a little bit of a price discount on the next round when they play at 8 and the 9. So we'll wait for that, man. I think the two guys you could play, like I know Martin and Richard are down there in the low 6K, but I just don't know about the ceilings. I think if you're going to play 25 to 28 minutes, I think Condon and Houff are interesting for the large field because they can get it done in 25 minutes. Condon probably not going to draw. I don't think he's going to draw any ownership because they have 4 bigs that they can play. So between the two, because Houff is $1,400 cheaper at $6,300. I think Houff, especially since he comes off the bench and could get those final few. We've seen Houff in blowouts play the final 6 to 7 minutes. So yeah, I think Condon and Houff for sure have upside to do some damage in the tournament. They're great fantasy per minute producers, but it feels a lot safer, right? With the same type of upside at 6,300 for Houff in this blowout spot. So yeah, I'll be using him some in the 25K to first.
Nothing. If you see anybody with a Norfolk State logo next to their name and you even hover over it with your pointer finger, I will come find you. And I won't do anything because I'm not that dude, but just don't do it, okay? Don't do Norfolk State. Florida, those some nice options. All right, good stuff. Troy in Kentucky here, Big Blue Nation. Let me hear you. Where you at? Holla if you hear me. 152 implied points here. Troy, a team that I've seen live down here in San Marcos, against a team in Kentucky that we've interviewed their head coach. I mean, it might have been when he was with BYU. So basically that means we're courtside for this one, front row for Troy in Kentucky, a 152-point implied total here. Let's start on the Troy side, 70 implied points on this one. Kentucky's not stopping anybody inside. Like, just get it into the paint and you get Ole. We've been talking about the Ole defense Kentucky's playing lately. The problem here, I want to get a little bit into this because I've seen Connerway play. I've seen these guys. They play so many guys. Connerway is a guy like that you can get to, Mike, and they play a lot of guys. 78th in bench minutes used, right? But Connerway's going to get his here. All the mid guys are priced up today, but Troy is kind of appealing because we talked about guys that got a haircut earlier. These are some more guys that got haircuts, and Connerway is one of them. I like him here in a pace-up.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like somebody on Troy is going to go off. I mean, 70 implied total is not terrible. Kentucky doesn't play a lot of D. So you can look at Connerway. I think you can look at Dowd. I think you can look at both Rigsby. I think I prefer Miles Rigsby. Yeah, the price tag is obviously a little more appealing, right, for Dowd and Rigsby. So, at Dowd, 6,200, he's like your stretch 4. He has some rebounding, some stock upside to go with it. He's flashed, 25 to 30 fantasy points, even upwards of 40. I don't think that's his ceiling in this particular matchup, but you definitely don't mind that at 6,200. And then Miles Rigsby, he's like your slashing wing, get to the bucket, right? Kentucky don't play a lot of defense, man. So, yeah, these guys are certainly appealing. It's just going to be tough because we're going to talk about Akron here in a minute. We've already talked about the Colorado State cheapies. We got more cheapies to come even after that. So, yeah, they're kind of interesting 25K to first place. But that's about it, man.
Connerway, second best steal rate in the country, something to consider for sure. On the Kentucky side, 82 implied points on the team total. Troy plays some pretty good defense, led by Connerway and those busy hands that he has for sure. But Troy also gives up a lot of steals and blocks to their opponents here. Let's start with Owe at AK flat. No need to worry. My accountant handles that, getting a nice discount from where he's been for most of the season here. He's taken on a huge scoring role this year, and we're going to get max minute Ortega for sure. I mean, on this side, it's probably Owe and Williams are your tourney options on this squad. Oh, yeah. One or the other. It just flip a coin. Pick Owe or Williams, right, man?
Who's going for 35 plus 40 plus fantasy points? Flip your coin. Mm-hmm. But you want to play these two guys in large field tournaments because they do have that that ability to go 5x at their price tags. Always prices down. Amari Williams just has those crazy rates. Just don't be surprised when Amari Williams is sitting on the bench 3 minutes into the game with 2 fouls. These other guys, Andrew Carr, Lamont Butler, I can't play either one of them right now, Jay. So really for me, it's Williams and Owe. Like Carr is priced up too much, and then Butler just is not the same dude right now. So I think on this Kentucky side, just pick one of the studs in the large field and move on.
He's not the same. I mean, again, he's the guy that We weren't sure. We were all offseason leading up to it. Who's going to be the point guard? Who's going to pull that load? Who's going to have that burden on them? And Butler did it for a little bit. He's just not – he looks worn down. He doesn't look like the same guy. And even at 5,600, man, I don't know if we can click on the name at the moment. All right, good stuff. Like and subscribe buttons, everybody. And also, while you're clicking stuff, how about you click on the link in the live chat right now for the One and Done Invitational over there on DraftKings for this Friday slate. $5 entry. What did we end up getting in there today? 25, 26?
Yeah, they've got
something like that.
25 or something. Mm-hmm.
Not too bad for a bunch of friends just hanging out in a DFS pool for sure. So make sure you get over to DraftKings at the One and Done Invitational. Also, the MC Holland Classic, as I like to call it over there. So we're going to get that link in the live chat here shortly. And make sure you hop in with us. Boom, right there. Baya, booyaka. Put it in there. Click on it. Go save your lineup, reserve it, and then go back later on after the show and fill it in. Up to 1435 on the subs, guys and gals. We definitely appreciate y'all for showing us love right now live on a Thursday. And even if you're watching with us on Friday morning, eating your Cinnamon Toast Crunch or your waffles or whatever you're doing, thank you for hanging out with us. We definitely appreciate it. New Mexico and Marquette's the next one on our slate here. Mike, 150 implied points. New Mexico gets up and down and all around. Fourth in tempo, and we like that for sure. The problem is Marquette plays defense. We're very familiar with their coach around these parts in Central Texas. Now out there at Marquette, brought the defensive mentality, but they do struggle against bigs, which I like for my man Nelly Jr. Joseph at 9,400. How good has he been lately, right? Like he's more expensive now than Dent.
Yeah, did not see that coming.
Like Nelly Jr. Joseph, 9,400, Dent, 92. You don't necessarily see them in that order on your sheet, but this is an awesome matchup for Nelly Jr. Joseph, coming off 38, 40.5, and 63 fantasy points in his last three. Now, what is a little bit scary might be the price tag.
Yeah.
And like large field, okay, like you've seen what he's capable of. This is a great matchup for them. Yeah. But the price tag and the ceiling, obviously, hey, 63, sign me up.
Yeah.
But even if he gets in the low 40s, we could deal with that.
And we've seen Zuby Ejiofor get like 50 against Marquette. We've seen multiple guys just go off against this Marquette. They don't have any bigs. So he's interesting. But Shaka Smart, he's probably gonna draw something up, right? And it's also scary because Nelly Jr. Joseph, he should walk his way to a double-double, right? Which kind of, I hate saying this, but Donovan Dent is so awesome. Huge shot rate, huge assist rate. He's got the steal upside. Marquette has really good defensive guards, like Cam Jones, Stevie Mitchell, a really good defensive guard. Chase Ross, right? Like one of the best defensive players in the Big East. So I think if I'm playing anybody, it's probably Nelly Jr. Joseph, which sounds crazy, which means I can only do it in the large field. But Donovan Dent, he's still going to have a nice floor because he has the ball in his hands a ton and his rates are so good. So, I'm not saying ignore him. But I'm saying, I don't know. There's other studs I'd rather spend up for, like Nick Clifford at 9K or Dane Dange at 8,900. You know what I mean? Lamari Williams and those guys are 78 and 8,000. It's just kind of one of those things where I don't know that I'd rather look at Cam Jones on the other side, Jay, for the same price tag, man. What are your thoughts?
Probably one of the better spend ups on the slate, I think. Jones and Dent here, in this side, 9,200 for either one of them. I like them both. Jones is going to take a bunch of shots. That's what you like about Cam Jones from the fantasy perspective, right? Excuse me. Man, I'm getting all my words twisted up trying to watch this Arkansas-Kansas instant classic developing in front of my eyes here. Jeez Louise. Anyways, Cam Jones, he's going to take the shots and play max minutes. And if he hits his threes, Mike, that's 40-plus fantasy point upside at a pretty good price tag.
Yeah, I'll be using some Cam Jones here. I'm not interested in a lot else. Chase Ross at 5,200. I always like him for tourneys at this price tag. He's got high stock upside, some peripheral ability, right? He just needs to make a couple of shots. You definitely go for a 25 to 30 spot in this one. So, yeah, I definitely have interest in some Chase Ross here. But I think I'm really limiting it to really in this game, which is an awesome game environment. I think I'm looking at Nelly Jr. Joseph, maybe a sprinkle of Dent, some Jones, and then some Ross in large field tournaments.
Makes a ton of sense. I like the price tag for Ross as well. All right, good stuff. Like and subscribe. Akron and Arizona is the next one. A better game total here, 166 implied points on this one. A 14-point spread here on this game. Akron 76, a 14-point dog according to KenPom's metrics here, and you still got 76 implied points. Hello. I like that. Both of these teams are near. So Akron is 16th in tempo. Arizona is 55th. Yeah, there's a reason why this game total is looking in the mid 160s. Akron uses 14 million guys, unfortunately. 29th in bench minutes used in the country. This is one of the 5 smallest teams in the country, too. So it feels a little bit silly, does the pricing on this side, even though the minutes aren't secure, and I mean that in a good way. Nate Johnson at 5,800. This is like one of the boom-bust targets on this one from a GPP perspective. Flash the 35 to 50 fantasy point upside in the MAC. This ain't the MAC, but, he's one of their only guys that plays 30-plus minutes. That's the thing. So probably a fun tourney option here, especially in the mid-range, Mike.
Yeah, all these guys are – this is a mistake in pricing on DraftKings. Scott, Johnson, Lyles, like name your pick here of these 4K dudes. My Scott, he comes off the bench. He does a little bit of everything. He's 4,700. He's like kind of like Nate Johnson, where it's like, man, these guys could go for 18 fantasy points, or these guys could go for 30 plus. So, I don't mind taking shots. I think of all the guys that feel safe on the Akron side, Tamari Johnson, he's like the consistent piece on this team. He'll play mid-20s, sometimes higher 20s, maybe touch 30 every now and then. The point guard, he leads the team in shot rate and assist rate. So he feels okay. The problem with playing Arizona is that they have really good on-ball defenders in KJ Lewis and Jaden Bradley. So gotta be careful there. And then Armani Lyles, he's at the forward spot here at 4K. So they start 4 guys that are 6'4" or smaller, and then they have Lyles who's like 6'7", 6'8". 7% block rate. This is in the MAC. 31 and 28 fantasy points in the last 2. I think he's an awesome tourney play. I just don't like the guys that he's going to be going up against. Carter Bryant at the 3 spot is like 6'7". So, Vesar, Waka, like all these guys, he's going to have a tough time. Like foul trouble is potentially there, but I think he's kind of like what you said about Johnson. Like all 4 of these guys are kind of interesting tourney plays because this is a massive total, 166 points. Look at the tempos, It's just going to be up and down, ton of shots. Like, I don't care. I'm going to have one of these guys probably in every lineup.
Isaac's in the live chat saying he's going to have so many zips. And I wanted to ask you, Mike, is it something that you can consider? You talked about finding ways to get, finding games to stack, finding prices to get that opportunity. This is not a horrible team total at all. Yeah. This is a game that even if it goes a couple of kicks the other way, and this is an 8 to 10 point game, Akron's getting to 80. So can you play 3 guys? If
you're crazy, I guess you could. The 25K to first, you could. I'm not doing it. I'll play 1 on every lineup. Yeah. Okay. I'll rotate my exposure. Around. So.
Okay, Arizona 90 implied points. Caleb Love, my guy. I wish I knew how to quit him, and I probably won't quit him on this slate either. Even though we know that the only safe DFS slate with Caleb Love on it is the one that you don't play. But with the massive team total here and the ability he has to just fill it up, it's so enticing. Because if you're on for the Caleb Love game, he can win you. He can help you see that comma. He can help you chase that comma if you get the Caleb Love game. It's a big if here. We know it's boom bust with him. And I don't know. Could it be the coming out party of, this is tournament, this is March Caleb Love. And then, in round 2, go 3 for 15. Who knows? Are you playing Love, Mike, or anybody else on the Arizona side in this total?
It's such a big total. I think you have to take at least a shot if you're mass multi-entering. Didn't he have like 40 fantasy points against Long Beach? He didn't shoot it well last year in that first round. This is kind of a similar game with less size. Like they had the Troyori guys for Long Beach and bigger guards, and this is a small team. I'll have shots on these guys in tournaments, all of them really, because the total's there, right? Like Bradley, Vesar, Lewis. Vesar is interesting. Like I don't know how they guard him. This is obviously this massive size differential. Now, Akron obviously wants to get up and down and wear the bigs out, right? So I don't know that any of the bigs will get 25. They usually don't anyway, but there's just no way that they're going to play like 25 minutes, right? Because this is going to have so many possessions in it. I find KJ Lewis interesting for tournaments. He's like a guy that can win you a tournament, can absolutely light up the box score, can rack up 4 steals in this type of a game environment. Could grab like 5 boards and 6 assists also. And then he also has some upside scoring. So it's legit 35 to 40 fantasy point upside in this spot here, man. But I got to take some shots on tournaments for this Arizona side at a 90 implied total, but their pricing is about right for their talent, even in this spot.
That's right. You are now listening to Love Letters with the conductor, Jay, and our friend Darren in the live chat. It's Love Letters, brought to you by BracketBids and BracketBids.com. Always good to see our guy Darren. Darren, good stuff. We talked about the BracketBids draft we had last night. Darren was a part of that. We appreciate him for sure. Appreciate all of you for hanging out with us. Like and subscribe buttons if you haven't done it already. We've seen those sub numbers on the way to 11 gazillion, fulfillion, and 1. And we hope that you are a part of that today. Yeah, Mike, last year in the first round, Caleb Love's line, hold on to your butts. 18, 11, 5, and 3 in the first round. So 3 stocks, I should say, there in the first round. So, man.
I don't even think he shot it well in that game either. If I remember, I don't think he hit a shot until like the second half.
He was probably like 5 for 9. 5 for 21 or something like that. Like, who knows? But I'm going to be in on him. I probably will play him.
Do it. 90 applied. Do it.
Do it. All right, good stuff. Like and subscribe. Oklahoma and UConn next on the agenda. 151 implied points. The Land Thieves have 75 of those. UConn is a team. When you look at the bracket and you look at where they fall on the 8 line, and you're just thinking like, nah. If you're a 1 seed, that's the last thing that you want to see is UConn on the 8 line in your region. But here we are, and to go on top of that, you also don't want to see them literally on the line next to you if you're Oklahoma. I don't know, man. This is going to be a tough one. UConn got beat up a lot of the time on defense this year because they don't have any stoppers, but this is still a really good – this is going to be a close one. Like, this is not – all jokes aside, this is going to be a close game. Most likely, and that benefits us, especially if we're spending up for like $8,500 for a Jeremy Fears. Like, both defenses sort of struggling. So, is max price Jeremiah Fears like the guy that you want to invest in? Max minutes, max price, really good game environment. Kind of volatile though. Really, not kind of, super volatile.
Yeah, it's pretty volatile. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He probably, Diarra is kind of scrappy. I'll look at the forwards. I don't know that I love a lot on Oklahoma. Jalen Moore, solid role, right? The game environment's nice. 25 plus fantasy point upside for Moore. But I'm probably just using other guys at this price tag. He feels like $500 too expensive for tourneys for me. I guess we can go back to Muhammad Wag here. The Sam Godwin injury's got him playing a significant role. He's such a boom bust play. He's 4K though. He just needs to stay away from foul trouble because they're going to need him because UConn uses 2 bigs for 40 minutes. So I think he's a good tournament play on the cheap for the forward spot. But I think I'm a lot more interested on the UConn side, honestly, Jay, at least from a stud perspective.
That makes sense. I get it. Caravan 7,400. All things considered, had a pretty solid year there. However, not the most appealing play on his own team for sure. Does that make him a better big tournament option because people might get off of him? I think so, especially at this price. Just remember, we gotta be a goldfish, right? Be a goldfish. Quick memory, right? Before the Creighton letdown, he had 37, and 44 fantasy points in the previous 3. I will take any of those at this price, to be honest.
Absolutely.
And not even blink twice about it. So I like the price tag. I like the fact that people might be off of him, and because they're going to look at some of his teammates here, McNeely and Reed. You talked about Diarra earlier. Like, these are guys that are all cheaper,
Right.
and can really contribute to what UConn does.
Yeah, man. I mean, Liam McNeely, like, people see his name at 6,400, and they know that he has 35, 40 fantasy point upside if he makes his shots, but that hasn't really been there recently. Now, this would be a spot that he could do it in, so I would only use him in a tournament as well as Terrace Reed at 6,100. I think Terrace Reed is an absolute smash spot for a tournament. 25K to first, like, I would play Terrace Reed. You can't defend anybody inside. He could play 14 minutes. He could play 28, especially Samson Johnson fouls. But he's shown the ability to absolutely destroy slates. I think if you're playing the large field mass multi-entry, you have to throw Terrace Reed in a few of those. Hassan Diarra, I think he's more of a cash play, Jay. So just decent rates across the board. He's not gonna burn you. He's been pretty solid this year. So yeah, I mean, all these guys are significantly cheaper. I mean, McNeely's $1,000 cheaper than Caravan, but Caravan has just as, it feels like, kind of safer upside than McNeely, although people fall in love with the name McNeely and the top 10 draft pick and all that stuff. So I think Terrace Reed though gets lost between the two all the time. Nobody ever plays him. I love when he gets back down to this price tag. So yeah, this is a good. I mean, 151 total, 1 point. Like this, the games on this slate are so much better from a DFS. Like, this can take a much bigger score tomorrow.
You talk coming in about the guys in the mid range, like that 6,100, 6,500, that can go off and win you a tournament. Terrace Reed's one of those guys. Like,
yeah, he can also just destroy your lineup too. So like,
yeah, one way.
But you have to know that, like,
mm-hmm.
like you go into knowing that.
Yeah, you definitely do. You know that going in with Reed for sure. Hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already, and a lot of you already have tonight. We definitely appreciate you for doing that, showing us some love there, doing your part in the One and Done universe. Go to @OneAndDoneCBB on all the socials, X, TikTok, Instagram, Sky Blue. Just follow them all. Eventually, the stuff will start to just spill out into your lap. But do yourself a favor and be one of the first. Say, I remember when I got onto their socials and contributed to the One and Done universe. Now, show us some love. We definitely appreciate that. Root Hogs survive in advance. Woo Pig Suey. Is that game over?
I think there's 12 seconds left.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a 3-point.
Yeah,
that's a 3-point game right now with about 12. I didn't know if I was a little bit behind or not on that one. So let me try to pay attention to what we're doing here and talk about Xavier in Illinois. Xavier coming off of that first 4 win against Texas in a movie, in a script that we were all too familiar with that Texas team. Halftime lead, and then all of a sudden no basketball at all. And it's disappointing because coming out of that spot, there is an avenue for Xavier to do a little bit of damage in this tournament. And it starts against Illinois here. They're not who won't turn you over. Illini aren't going to turn you over a ton. So can Zach Freemantle pay off 8,200? I'm not paying 87 for Conwell, but I think I can pay 8,200 for Freemantle, especially with the floor. You're locking him into a cash game, double upside. Darren's bonus that he always likes to talk about, that's there for sure. This is a big total, Mike. The implied total on this one, 160 for the game. We want to be involved in this one, and you could do much worse than Freemantle.
Yeah, I mean, Freemantle, man, Xavier got priced up because of just, that huge scoring game against Texas there. Dalen Swain, though, I think is kind of sneaky. Like, he has a tough defensive assignment. A lot of Illinois guys are able to create, Will Riley. Kashon is a bigger point guard, so we'll see who they put him on. He hasn't been great recently, so I think it'll go overlooked for the large field, but he's a guy that can put up 35 fantasy points. He does a lot on the floor. A lot of things do have to kind of go his way as far as, how many shots he's going to get and how efficient he is with it, man. For 70 implied total, though, I think I'm more on this 82 implied side with Illinois as far as DFS plays, but I'm with you on Freemantle. He's an awesome small tourney play, awesome cash play. And then Dalen Swain's kind of sneaky for the 25K to first. Got you on mute, Jay.
2 times in one show, man. We've been running ragged these days, man. Like Just rolling with the punches and seeing what happens.
Just
and,
trying to make it, man.
Hey, this is I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I promise you that much. Talking hoops, right in the middle of the tournament going on right here. Arkansas up 5 now with 3 seconds left. That one's done. A&M up 9 under 4 minutes. Drake up 13 over Mizzou with 12 minutes left. About to get to the under 12 timeout there as we are live. Hit those like and subscribe buttons as we move on to Bryant and Michigan State. 149 implied points, so a little bit of a bump down from the 160 that we were just talking about. On the Bryant side, Mike, I mean, we know who's going to get the minutes, at least, but in a 65-point team total here. And
let's not forget about the Illinois side real quick, Jay.
My bad. Game. Oh, hey, got a little excited there. Yeah, Yakashonis, right, 7,600, 40 fantasy point upside every time he takes the floor, especially in this game environment. So my bad. I got us pushing all these buttons and stuff going back and forth. But yeah, let's talk Illinois first. 82 implied points. Yakashonis boom bust. But per dollar, Mike, not many guys have his upside.
Yeah, I had him the other the game before that, the Maryland game. We finally got there. Like been trying, and then hasn't done much. He's been turning the ball over a ton. So yeah, I think Yakashonis for the 25K to first. Will Riley for the 25K to first, Thomas Slavovicic for the 70 at 7,100. All of these guys, like I will play them probably 60% on my lineups and have one of them. Riley's like a gunner, right? Taking a ton of shots. Shot dependent though, so you worry about that a little bit, although he has some rebounding upside. I don't love the upside compared to a Yakashonis or an Avicic. Especially when you consider he's $100 only. If Yakashonis is only $100 more, and a Avicic is $400 cheaper. So Avicic here at 7,100, like just there's double upside here, assist upside here, stock upside here. It's an 82 implied total. Like Xavier's not the biggest team in the world. I think he could have a massive game here. Darren's talking about Trey White. Yeah, boom bust. Really, all these guys are boom busts, man. Yakashonis, Wiley, they're all boom busts. Tourney options, 25K to first, play them in that. But at 82 implied total, one of them's getting there. Boswell, too, is kind of in that same situation. I feel like he's a little more safer than these guys, and I'd rather take shots at these guys in tournaments.
Mike, why was I so excited to talk about Bryant? Skip over
because they're going to beat Michigan State tomorrow.
Hey, don't be putting that out there in the universe like that. Not my South representative in the Final Four. Anybody on the Bryant side though? Now that we are officially on this game, 149 implied points. Anybody tickle your fancy?
Just Timberlake, man, because he's a former P5 player in Miami and Memphis, and he does it all rates across the board. It was awesome in the America East. 40 fantasy points, right? Just like all the time. Not really an outside shooter, and that's kind of how you have to beat Michigan State. Like they're going to wall off the rim. I think you just have to. You have to probably pass on this side, but if you want to take a shot and be different in a large field, you want to play a Timberlake and think they keep the game somewhat close, like kind of interesting. But I'm really probably off on most of this game, man, because we got the blowout potential on this side. The Michigan State, we know that they play a ton of guys.
Yeah, 16th in bench minutes used. Jace Richardson's one of those guys that gets some, or at least more than others, and again, it's the blowout worry, right? Izzo finally unleashed Richardson in the final month of the season, like really solid rates,
finally.
Super high efficiency. Yeah, it took him long enough, right? But again, this is one of those things where Izzo just pulls the right strings in February and March. Nobody's shocked that he just, you know what, maybe I could do, boom, Jace Richardson. Why not? It's the blowout potential, man, that concerns me. But 40 fantasy point upside, especially with the 84-point team total here.
Yeah.
So Richardson, thoughts on him and anybody else for the Spartans?
Yeah, I think he's solid. It's weird how he's one of the most efficient players in the league, and he started all of a sudden getting 30 minutes, and they started being even better than they were previously. So it's weird how that works. But Jackson Kohler at 6,500, he could definitely do it in limited minutes. The problem is they play a bunch of guys, so you just never know with him. Is it going to be 18 minutes? Is it going to be 28 minutes? If it's 28 minutes, I definitely would love to see that. But I just don't know that they're going to push these guys here. The only way that they would is if Bryant somehow keeps it close. In that case, you probably want to play Timberlake. I'm probably not doing much of that. We're kind of talking into game theory. That's probably not going to happen. But large field tournament, 4,500 teams. If you play that theory, it works out. You're probably looking decent. But I mean, it's probably not for me.
Again, might be tough there, but averaging over 35 fantasy points in games where he does get 30 minutes. So
yeah, problem is he probably won't get 30 minutes in this one.
If he gets 24, if he gets 24, maybe I'd be excited because he might be getting closer to 15. So who knows? Probably stay away from it. All right, Liberty and Oregon. Man, we made it all the way through here.
We did it.
16 games are right here at the very end. Liberty Bibberty and the Ducks. A 140 implied total here for the game. Liberty, 68 of those. Probably passing here, Mike?
Yeah, except for Owen Aquino, 4,100. I think he's an interesting punt. Typically plays around your mid-20s minutes. He only has a 17% shot rate, which I don't love, but he has rebounding and stock upside, and they need him on the floor because they are not a big team, and they're going to have to deal with really Oregon at every position is a lot bigger than them. So, yeah, he's going to be I think we'll see max minutes for him, which is 26 to 28 minutes. But at 4,100, right, it's interesting. He does foul a lot. So, yeah, I mean, he's more of a secondary value play, but I'm not in love with this game that much, man. I think it's going to be an ugly, knockdown drag out, but there is one guy on the Oregon side that, I mean, he can absolutely get it done with his size.
Who's going to stop Nate Biddle?
Yeah, that's going to be a problem for Liberty. Going to be a problem.
Yeah. Last 4 games, 42, 36, 62, and 41 fantasy points for Biddle. I don't know how they're going to stop him. He started playing another guy started, oh, wow. Let him see 30 minutes on the floor and you see what happens.
Yeah.
It's good to see him. It's one of those stories too. Good to see him in the tourney after all the injuries over what feels like the last, decade.
Yeah, he looks like an old Biddle.
Man. Yeah, he does, but he also looks like a pretty great tournament play.
Yeah, 100%. Nate Biddle can stop Nate Biddle by being brittle. Nothing else from this side, man. Shellstad's there, Bamba's there. It's 140 total. We've talked about so many good plays. It's really just Biddle. And if you want to get, I don't know why you would need to get different. We have so many 4K plays.
Our guy Corey was talking about playing Shellstad the other day. If Shellstad actually hit some shots, he can pay that price off. But he's just such a drain on your lineup usually because he goes 3 for 12 and turns the ball over 5 times, and then you're stuck. Yep. So it's hard to get there. I love Shellstad. I wish he'd be a little bit more efficient and a little bit more careful with the ball. But I like his game, and I hope he can continue to develop. He will not spend much time on my screen for this Friday slate. Excellent, all 16 games in the books. And your reward for hanging out all the way until the end is the core 4 and more. Not just a core 4. No. Not on a 16-game slate, ladies and gents. No. What you're getting from us, you're getting how many of these cash plays, cash game? 8, right? Yes.
Doubled it up.
8, double. We'll double up. We're going to start with Norchad. I like the floor Chad. Omir at 9,700. Cam Jones at 9,500. Josh Jefferson at 8,300. Zach Freemantle for Xavier, 8,200. Marcialonis for St. Mary's, 8K flat. Those are the spend ups here from a cash game. And, if you're just looking for a safer play, I know Darren, Darren really likes to play safe, right? Don't you, Darren, in life? So you love the safest plays possible, I believe. No, we know you don't. But those are all the guys, AK and above, that you got to consider. Omir, Cam Jones, Josh Jefferson, Freemantle, and Marcialonis. Down a little bit farther, Diarra for UConn at 5,600. Kyan Evans for Colorado State at 5,400. And Tavari Johnson for Akron, the home of LeBron James, 4,600 for Johnson there. Nice floor plays there. Obviously, you're not going to be able to shove them all in your lineup, but the top quality producer getting all 8 of those gents on your screen so you can see what it looks like, what the feel is like to have them in your lineup. All right, good stuff. Cash plays there, but we know what you're here for. We're here to swim with the sharks with open wounds on our bodies. Like Darren says in the live chat, it's time to bring it. El Capitan with some tourney plays here, some of the highest ceilings on the slate, some of the biggest bang that you can get for your buck on the slate. What do you got?
All right, man. We'll give out 8 here, maybe a couple extra. We'll see. I think Nick Clifford at 9K for tourney upside is an awesome play. Dane Danger at 8,800. Julian Reese at 8,000 for Kentucky. From Maryland, and then Amari Williams at 7,800. Visage at 7,100. Curtis Jones at 7,200. Mo Diabate at 5,600. Jalen Lake for the cheap at 4K. You can also sprinkle in guys like Yakashonis, Lyles, Nunn, Dia, Morauskas. So, yeah, there's a lot of plays for tournaments, man. So I'm excited for tomorrow's slate.
Going to be a fun one for sure. We hope you had a lot of luck on the Thursday slate. And if you're watching for the Friday slate, chances are you got a little bit of the green screen fever. Green screen fever. Got to do it for sure. Hey, this was a good one. We've covered, it's 2 shows in a row, 2 days in a row now that we've covered a 16-game slate. We've got the one and done universe, the breadheads that have hung out with us for almost. Some of you have spent these whole shows with us here. I mean, my bad. Some of y'all have spent these entire shows with us here. We know Michael Peterson is always hanging around. Darren got in when he could today. Isaac jumping in saying he's going to have all the Akron zips that he can handle in his lineup. Forklift Jeremy, who was in the BracketBids challenge with us last night, our friends over at BracketBids and BracketBids.com. We're going to have some new information for you after the first weekend from our friends at BracketBids. So make sure you've hit all of those buttons, and so many of you did tonight. Like and subscribe. You've hit it already, and we appreciate all of the love that you have shown us. Mr. Brooks in the live chat as well. Eric the Blue. Never want to miss out on him. Andrew also lamenting with me about Hunter Dickinson's night or lack thereof in the live chat. So, Darren, lowest seed advancing. I mean, it's going to be Lipscomb. I already told you that, my guy. Come on. The 14 seed. That's what's happening. And guess who has him? Who hasn't? Me? Of course I do. Of course I do. Hey, we appreciate Darren. We appreciate everybody that hung out. Michael Peterson still here. He's still standing. He's still strong. Of course he is. We love the one and done universe. We love the breadheads. And we love you for hanging out with us tonight. Mike, a 16 gamer on a Friday. I'm glad we broke this down. I'm glad everybody spent some time with us doing it. We hope you had luck on Thursday. We hope you have luck on Friday. We hope you have luck all weekend long. Make sure you have the notification bells on so you know the next time we go live and we bring you the heat. For Mike Holland, El Capitan himself, at MC Holland34 on Twitter, for at Fantasy Nav in those Twitter streets, Eric the Blue pushing the buttons tonight, for the Hall of Famer CC Hustle out in Cancun, shirtless in a pool somewhere. I am the conductor of the aforementioned one and done train at Dr. William Cannon on Twitter. I'll follow you back if you follow me. Follow at one and done CBB on all the socials. You will not be disappointed. We'll see you soon. My name, JAYHEINRICH. Come again. We'll see you.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.